I'm a 19-year-old Nigerian girl. I've had my share of paranormal experiences, but there is one encounter in particular that still scares me till this very day. It happened when I was around 7 or 8. I shared a room with my siblings, my 2 brothers, and my sister. One night, I got up to pee, and on my return, I heard a very ominous sound. It sounded like a hum. I froze. I was looking down because it was dark and I still felt sleepy. But as I heard the sound, I raised my head up, and what I saw made me terrified. Standing directly in front of me was a dark figure in the shape of a man. He had horns on his head, and his eyes were black. He looked at me and began to chant something. As he called my name, I felt myself being pulled towards him. I was so petrified, I couldn't scream. Somehow, I managed to scream, and I ran to my parents' room. Hearing my screams, they woke up, alarmed, and asked me what was wrong. When I told them what happened, they panicked and ran to the room my siblings were in. The malevolent entity was gone. I know I've seen the devil in some nightmares, but I'm still petrified of how he appeared to me that night at a very young age. I just hope I don't ever have to relive that horrific experience ever again. I'm a 14-year-old female. Because of my age, the only job I could get in my state was babysitting. I wanted some of my own money, so I decided to give babysitting a try. For about a week, I studied and took a babysitting test, just so I knew how to properly care for a child. After passing the test, I posted on my town's social media page that I could babysit. About a month later, I received a job offer from a family 3 houses away. I accepted the job offer. They wanted me to babysit their 5-year-old from 5 to 10 p.m. That night, I headed to the house and got the rundown about the kid, as well as a tour of the house. I was told that her parents were actually her godparents, because her actual parents died in a car accident when she was only 1 year old. Her bedtime was at 7, so until then, we coloured, played with Barbies, and watched her favourite show, Bluey. Once 7 p.m. rolled around, we went through her routine. Bathroom, brush teeth, and bedtime story. She chose Goodnight Moon to read before bed, so I sat in bed with her, and halfway into the book, she said, "Someone's on the stairs." Her room is on the 2nd story, and next to the staircase. "No one's there, we're home alone," I told her. But she kept insisting, so I told her I'd check the house, and then made the rounds. I checked the upstairs and downstairs, but I didn't find anything. I went back up the stairs, and she said, "Mummy's behind you." Let's just say, after that, I did not want to babysit her again. About a month later, my babysitting job had been really slow, and that family requested a job again. Regrettably, I decided to take it. I definitely will not accept a job from them again. This happened about 2 hours after I put the kid to bed. I was downstairs in the living room, and I heard footsteps upstairs. I sighed and went to investigate why she was out of bed. I stood at the bottom of the stairs for a second and looked up the stairs. The bathroom light was on, so I walked up and knocked. "Everything okay?" No answer. I called her name. Still no answer. "I'm coming in." I opened the door and no one was there. So I went into her bedroom because maybe she was walking around in there instead. But no, she was fast asleep. I was obviously creeped out. Then I returned back downstairs, and I had an intense feeling of being watched. Now I'm certain I'll never babysit for them again. Before I continue with the final story, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to see future content from me, as well as help me in the algorithm. Thank you. This definitely isn't the scariest thing compared to most people's experiences, but it's a paranormal experience I've had, and I want to share it. This happened to me many years ago, when I was about 11 or 12. It was an early morning in either late June or July. It was a weekday, and at the time, I did ballet. The studio I used to dance at had a summer program that lasted for a few weeks, and since it was during the weekdays, it started at around 9 AM. And because I lived a little further from the studio than a lot of the other dancers there, I had to be up quite early. However, on this particular morning, I woke up earlier than I normally would. I usually woke up at around 7 AM, but this time I woke up sometime around 4 or 5 AM. Anyway, after waking up earlier than I normally did, I couldn't fall back asleep, so I reached for my iPad on my nightstand next to me to play some games I had on there in order to pass the time. I can't remember if this was before I reached for it or after, but at some point, I heard the voice of a woman say, "Hello," my name. I was obviously a little freaked out, and I didn't know what to do. I knew that I wasn't dreaming or hallucinating or anything, and I knew that it didn't have anything to do with me because I was fully awake and conscious before it happened. I thought that it might have been my mum, because the voice did sort of remind me of hers, but I was the only one in my room, and my bedroom door was fully shut. The voice was clear and definitely sounded like it was inside the room, so if it had been my mum, she would have had to open and close the door, which I would have heard her do. If she was talking to me from the hallway on the other side of the door, her voice would have sounded muffled, which wouldn't make sense because the voice was crystal clear. Still in denial, I got out of bed and walked down the hall to my parents' bedroom. As I approached their bedroom door, which was opened, I noticed that both of my parents were in bed. Despite this, I was still in denial, and I went over to my mum's side of the bed. I woke her up and asked her if she'd come by my room and said hello to me at all, and she said no. So I told her about what had just happened. At this point, I'd finally accepted that whatever it was that said hello to me, it wasn't a person, but rather something paranormal. My best conclusion is that whoever or whatever had spoken to me was probably a guardian angel. For context, the rest of my family has also had experiences with a spirit, who we have come to determine has been the same spirit present during all encounters. Both of my younger siblings have seen her before when they were very little, probably when they were toddlers. When the three of us were little, my mum would see our toys move without being touched by a person, or they would sometimes make noise without a person present to perform an action that would allow the toy to make noise. My dad once sneezed and heard a woman's voice say "bless you" to him in German. Another time, when my younger brother was choking on something in front of my dad, a Red Cross pamphlet that had been attached to the fridge suddenly flew off and landed on the floor, open to the page displaying the Heimlich maneuver, which is used to stop people from choking. My mother usually goes to a local psychic about twice a year, and while I don't know too much about their interactions, the psychic has very likely confirmed the presence of a guardian angel in my home and around my immediate family, which is why I'm led to believe that it was the guardian angel who was talking to me that morning.